Hi, I'm Adrian Rigel. We're on week 3 of our second mesocycle of training. This week we're going to progress our exercises by way of intensity, so we're going to increase our reps to 4 sets of 12 as opposed to 3 sets of 12 we did last week. We're going to be doing the same exercises that kind of increase core and upper body while still maintaining lower limb strength and stability. So our first exercise is going to be a pistol squat. You're going to have one foot planted on the ground, the opposite leg's coming into hip flexion with our knee locked out, and our arms are coming up into a flex position. You're bending at the knee, flexing at the hip till we hit our low point, pressing back up into our standing position. I want to make this a little bit harder. We're going to progress the exercise by taking a weight on the same side that we have the foot planted. Again, you're bending the knee, flexing the hip. Once we hit our low point, press back up to our standing position. I want to make this easier. We're going to progress the exercise by just lowering down to a seated position on the stool. Foot's planted on the ground. Opposite legs coming into hip flexion with the knee locked out. Arms are coming up into flexion. Bend at the knee, flex at the hip. Once we hit our low point seated, we're just coming back up to our standing position. Next, we're going to be doing our pull-up. So for our pull-up, we're going to be taking hold of our gi material right here. We're going to lower ourselves down into a seated position. You want to retract your scapulas and flex at the elbows till your chin is about even with your hands. Then you're going to lower yourself down back in an arm extension. If you want to make this harder, we can bring our feet out and keep our hip at about a 90-degree angle, keeping our feet up at all times. Again, retract the scapulas, flex the elbows till our chin is about even with our hands. Then you lower yourself back down in a full arm extension. If I want to make this a little bit easier, we're just going to go back to your regular pull-up. Take hold of the bar. Again, retract your scapulas, flex at the elbows till your chin's just above the bar, like you're peeking over a fence, and then you lower yourself back down. So next we're going to be doing our bear stance sit out to high bridge. I want my hands just under my shoulders. My knees are going to be off the ground, just under my hip line. I'm going to be pulling the kettlebell up to my armpit, rotating through to a high bridge. So I got the kettlebell, rotate through to a high bridge. This is our regression. Our base, we're going to be punching to the sky. In our progression, we're going to keep our eyes on the kettlebell, swing that left knee back in for a windmill position, coming up to kneeling. Slowly lower back down, bring that leg back through, lower the kettlebell, and return back to our bear stance. Next, we're going to be doing an elevated single leg bridge. I'm going to be elevating my back on the foam roller, taking my kettlebell just on my hip line. I'm going to be having one foot planted, opposite legs are going to be locked out in extension, trying to keep my thighs in line with each other. I'm going to be bringing my hips up off the ground, hold for 3 seconds. If I want to make this harder, I'm going to add a resistance band around my legs. It's going to force my legs immediately that I'm going to have to resist. Again, bring our hips up, maintain for 3 seconds. If I want to regress the exercise, I'm keeping both feet on the ground. And again, hip extension, coming back down. Next, we're going to be doing our clean and jerk with our kettlebell. So I have my feet about shoulder width apart, bend the knees, flex the hips, take hold of the kettlebell. I want tension on the arm, retract my scapulas, nice proud chest. Exploding through the floor, bringing my heels up. Once the kettlebell's on my shoulder, slight bend in the knee, again exploding through the ground, bring the heels off the floor, punching the sky like I'm Superman. If I want to regress the exercise, I'm going to start with the kettlebell on my shoulder, again exploding through the floor, bringing the heels up, punching to the sky. If I want to progress the exercise, start with the kettlebell on the ground. We're going to add a squat to the clean pattern. So bend on my knees, flexing my hips, take hold of my kettlebell, scapulas retracted, bring the kettlebell up to my shoulder, drop down into a squat pattern, and again explode through the floor, heels off the ground, punching to the sky. Finally, our carry exercise. We're going to do an overhead press carry. So I have both the kettlebells. I want to make sure at all times my shoulders are in line with my hips, chin slightly tucked, scapulas retracted. I'm going to bring the kettlebells up to my shoulder, punch both to the sky, and maintain that for the entirety of the carry. If I want to make this a little easier, I'm going to regress to a farmer's carry. Again, proud chest, scapulas retracted, hips in line with shoulders. If I want to progress the exercise, we're going to bring our kettlebells up to about a 90-90 position, 90 degrees on my elbows, 90 degrees on my shoulders, scapulas retracted, chin slightly tucked. We're going to maintain that for the carry. Carry is going to be 4 sets of 60 seconds. All exercises are now 4 sets of 12. Single limb exercises, we're doing 12 on each side with a 90-second rest in between.